Those of you that are with the devil need to stay with the devil and leave me alone.
They come up there with their guns ablazing.
And if I wanted to be there with you and your family, I would be there with you and your family. It's not where I want to be. I want to be with Angela and her family right now. Stop the bullshit on the Facebook. Quit calling people out and saying things that aren't true.
This is not the way somebody that's their age should be living.
Welcome back to Crime into Bed. I'm Felicia.
And I'm Jennifer, her mom.
This episode we have for you today is explosive because we're getting the tea from
Angela's sister, Miss Ginger Carter. We appreciate all of the information that you have provided to us, Miss Ginger. And in this episode, we include personal recollections. A person's recollection is not automatically the same thing as a proven fact. When we have public records or documents, we will identify them. If we do not, we will tell you that too. With that being said, we do need to recant a statement that we said in episode 2. In the answer that was filed in the lawsuit regarding the machinery, Angela Dugan is not the registered agent in Arkansas for Ozark Safety Cabins. Her son-in-law, Samuel Mulvis, is the registered agent. So she did make a factual statement. However, it's still a broad statement to make in an affirmative defense answer. I am not a lawyer, but I have worked for lawyers. I do have a paralegal degree. But we wanted to make that statement so as we're giving you accurate information as we go along.
We are also not making any medical diagnosis regarding anyone discussed in this episode. Ginger describes behavior that concerned her, but only a qualified healthcare professional can diagnose a medical condition.
Absolutely. Before there was Ozark Safety Cabins, before customers began reporting money paid for cabins they say never arrived, and before arrests and court cases began piling up, there was a family watching something unfold from the inside.
Today, we are bringing you the most important portions of our conversation that we had with Angela's sister. Ginger's original interview was nearly an hour long when we sat down with her this week.
Yes.
So rather than replaying the entire family disagreement, every allegation, we are focusing on what Ginger says she personally witnessed and on the moments that help explain how this story grew from a troubled family relationship into something much larger.
So when we first made contact with Ginger, she told us that speaking publicly was not something she took lightly. She does live and work in the same area where many of these events unfolded, and she did not want her sister's reputation attached to her name.
They brought me up here to this town that they scam people in and under some, I don't know, non-ideal situation. But I've made a home up here, and I don't want people to see me and think of my sister because I'm nothing like her.
That distinction matters. Ginger says she is not coming forward as a participant. She's coming forward as a family member who says she trusted the wrong people and paid for it financially, emotionally, and within her own family.
And here she is tearing the family apart.
Her story does not begin with a tiny home company scam. She describes a pattern of sudden moves from the Angela Dugan family, unusual explanations, and family members being left to clean up the consequences. Many years earlier, Ginger says that Angela and her family abruptly relocated to Alaska.
Ginger says the move happened so quickly that the family was left trying to understand why birth certificates, marriage documents, photographs, and other possessions had been abandoned.
Before 2010, and they moved to Alaska. Like normal people pack your things up and take time and move up there. They did not. They did it in a weekend. And so she had me and her dad go and clean out their trailer that they were living in. And they left all kinds of things like birth certificates, wedding certificates, literally had the place trashed. And I was like, well, this is weird. And I'll tell you guys later what we found in there. But literally one weekend, and they had moved up there. Like, who does that?
Later, she says Angela returned from Alaska with an extraordinary explanation for an injury and her claimed vision problems.
We were getting some crazy phone calls. They were moving from one house to another house up there. She said somebody was after her. I was like, working too much. I don't know what's going on. But then all of a sudden, she said that she was in surgery because she was a surgical tech for a heart doctor. And it was like a major person up there. I don't know anything about it. But she said he got mad at her and pulled the surgical light down on top of her head, and that made her go blind. According to me, she went blind.
We cannot verify what happened inside an operating room in Alaska. What matters to this story is that Ginger says the explanation did not make sense to her, and that this was one of the first times that she began questioning what she was being told by her sister Angela.
Years later, after their father passed away, Ginger and her husband sold their home. Her husband, Sean, was living with advanced multiple sclerosis. Ginger says Angela invited them to move closer to help care for their mother and build a life on a property the family represented as their own.
And Ginger told us that she made one requirement clear to her sister Angela, that if her family relocated, that she was going to need electricity, water, and a proper sewer system.
The family arrived with expensive campers, a seriously ill husband, and a young child, and discovered that most of what she believed had been promised was not there. The question was no longer simply, where are we going to live? It became, what exactly have we moved into?
Then Angela goes, why don't you move up here and help me take care of Mom, because Mom just needs help, and she would love to be around you and your daughter and Sean, and we'll help Sean. Sean's got end stages of multiple sclerosis. So we were like, okay, why not? And I said, but to do that, we have to do this right. Like, I'm not going to just come up there and have no water or anything like that, because I know there are mountains up here, and I know, they were living with no water, no electricity, no anything. Ended up coming up here, and I told, and I still got my receipts. I told Allison that I need a sewer dug so that we weren't in trouble. I needed portable water. So we needed that. We needed bring the electricity. We brought in, electricity is expensive when you bring it off of a main road onto a dirt road and all the way down. It was, gosh, I have the receipt, but it was like $20,000 to do that. We get there, and it was horrible to get there. They were supposed to fix all of that because of our trailers being so bougie, but they did not fix that. We get there, and there was nothing dug. There was no well. There was no anything. There was electricity. And there was gravel. And that was.
Then came a request that Ginger and Sean found increasingly strange, which one would. They say they were expected to watch the entrance to the property and keep track of anyone approaching.
Our job, which was just weird, was to watch the gate, make sure nobody comes in and out, because, around here, you never know what kind of meth heads are coming in and out and things like that. And they're like, well, just watch it for us. So we would. And Sean's like, something is wrong. So then somebody came and they've got cameras on the gate. So somebody came through the gate, or wanted to come through the gate. Well, it was locked, and Angela calls up there and says, well, who's at the gate? And I said, well, I don't know who these people are. Do you want me to go check? And she's like, no, I'm sending the kids. So she sent the kids up there, and they were, ready for World War III. They come up there with their guns ablazing and like armor on their chest. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? So at that point, Sean and I like, I don't know what is going on, but this is not okay. Something is bad wrong.
As the situation became more serious when a shipment of Sean's refrigerated medication arrived while they were away. She says she had specifically asked to be notified the moment it reached the property.
Sean's medicine was coming to the gate, and we were gone. And I told her, I said, listen, Sean's medicine, it's very important that it stays refrigerated. Please let us know when it gets there. We'll come and get it. It's fine. Because we were just coming down to Central Arkansas for some just to get away. Well, they did not tell me when it was there. And so I came in and I was like, oh, this is here. Well, it's hot. And we couldn't get a hold of the nurse. But anyway, it was bad medicine. I did not know it was bad medicine. And we gave it to my husband. And
Whoa.
he got very, 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 very ill. They didn't care. They said, well, it's not my business.
We want to make it clear that we're not making a medical finding about what caused Sean's illness. What this moment reveals is the complete breakdown of trust between Ginger and her sister. Her husband's health was vulnerable. Her daughter was witnessing increasingly volatile behavior, and the people she had moved there to help no longer appeared concerned with protecting her family.
Final break came after a confrontation involving Ginger's 8-year-old daughter. We are intentionally not replaying every detail because it involves a minor and a private matter concerning her parentage. Ginger says information was disclosed to the child without her parents' permission.
That was the boundary that Ginger says could not be repaired.
I'm done. When it involved our child.
I mean,
Don't mess with
you
kids.
don't bring in the kids. The spouses and the kids are off limits, period.
Mm-hmm.
So she and Angela went no contact. But no contact did not mean the story was finished.
Ginger relayed to us that days later, she learned of Angela and David's arrest from someone at the school where she worked.
It's a small town. And just one day I had a teacher come up and say, hey, isn't this your sister? And I'm like, oh my dear God, what? And so I see it. And lo and behold, there's my sister with her mugshot. And then there's David with his mugshot. And I'm like, what the actual mess is going on? So she calls me and she says, hey, sis, I love you. And I'm like, no, you don't. I love you. We didn't end on a very good spot. And I'm like, no. And she said, do you think that you can take me somewhere? And I'm like, where do you want me to take you? Out of here, because they're going to kill me here.
According to Ginger, she immediately believed Angela and David would leave the area if they were released at the same time.
Well, I even told the judge here when I was getting the no contact order. I said, this is what's going on. And he looked at the bailiff, and the bailiff's like, yeah, they ran to Texas. Yeah. And he's like,
and Ginger also describes disputes involving family land, inherited property, trusts, and money that she believed should have been shared among relatives. These matters are complicated. A deed, an estate, or trust transaction that can have legal details that even some family members may not have fully understood. For that reason, we are not presenting Ginger's understanding as a final legal conclusion.
But we do want you to hear what she says the personal impact was on her family.
My dad also had passed. My grandparents have let my dad 20 acres, and it all attached to 110 acres. So my dad's portion of that was 20 acres. The rest of it belonged to his brothers and sisters.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they being my mother, who was not in the right frame of mind, and one of my uncles started going, well, if I give you my portion of mom's house, then you give me the 20 acres. And then my mom also had 10 acres that we grew up on in Little Rock that was supposed to go to all of us. The 10 acres, the 20 acres, all of that stuff was supposed to go to all of the kids. Well, Angela goes, they won't know nonetheless if we just do this. So she ends up taking all of it. Now, mind you, Sean and I told her that we would pay taxes on the 20 acres. We just wanted a place to call our own that we could start a farm on and all this and raise Chloe and know that she would be taken care of. They would never let us pay anything. So then money starts getting tight for them, and they're like, we've got to do something. So she goes around me and Stephen and Leslie, and she sells the 20 acres. She doesn't tell my uncles or my aunts or anything. She just sells the 20 acres. Now, the 20 acres out there where it was worth a lot of money. She sold it for like $60,000 or something. So then I'm finding out about this, weeks after she had done it, because I didn't know. But all my uncles and everything knew or thought that Stephen and Leslie and I knew about all of this, and we got all this money. We didn't have a clue what was going on. We're over here trying to be grown adults and do our own and pay our own taxes, and here she is tearing the family apart. Yeah, it just, oh, so bad. My uncles, after they realized that I was not part of that, because my uncles stopped talking to me, my dad's brothers. They were so livid, as they should have been. And I'm like, I did not have any part of this.
For Ginger, the most urgent part of the story is not a cabin or a parcel of land or an unpaid bill. It is her mother. Ginger says she offered her mother a place to live away from the instability.
I said, you don't have to live in the house with us, but you can live in the camper. We'll get it fixed back up for you. It'll be nice, and you'll be fine. You won't have to worry about, is Tom Cotton going to bring his helicopter over and land it because we got this $1 million mine? I said, you just come out here and you'll be fine, and everybody will be fine. And she just got on the phone with me, and she said, no, I don't think so. And I said, Mother, why? And she said, well, Angela said she's going to do da-da-da-da-da. She said, and I can't leave her alone. And I was like, Mother, I'm going to need you to just come here and stay for a little bit. I can always take you back down to wherever Angela's going to go. I'll take you there. And she said, no, then I think I'll just go with Angela. I was like, okay, Mom. But if you need me, just, call me and I'll come and get you. Yeah. And that's how we left that off.
There are publicly available Facebook posts from Karma Otts that we would like to include in this episode. This first post is from February of 2025. She states, to any friends and family on here, I'm healthy and doing great. I have chosen to no longer associate with a lot of people related to me, including some of my children. For any of those children that are pulling a victim card and searching for me, I have made my stance on everything known many times. I also have tried helping you your entire life only for you to spin it every time to your advantage. I love you all, but your father, Steve, would want me to be happy and healthy, not to take abuse from you all anymore. You make my blood pressure go up, and I will not have a stroke just so I play into your games. You will know if this applies to you. Don't worry if it doesn't. Again, I love you all, but I will live my life in happiness and not with nastiness. I have always have you all in my prayers, and I will always pray that you are happy and healthy, but I choose not to be in your lives.
In May of 2025, Karma also made this public video with the attached caption, here is for those that are so stupid to believe my oldest daughter. I don't want her. I don't want to talk to her, and I do not have to. Leave me alone, Ginger Ann, and your children need to leave me alone.
Okay, this is Karma Jean Otts. I am in full control of my body, my mind, and my soul. God has it. Those of you that are with the devil need to stay with the devil and leave me alone. If your soul can be saved, you better start praying, because God needs you to do that. Ginger Ann, if I wanted to be there with you and your family, I would be there with you and your family. It's not where I want to be. I want to be with Angela and her family right now. If I choose to come to you, I'll let you know. Until then, stop the bullshit on the Facebook. Quit calling people out and saying things that aren't true. You're not a medical doctor. You're not an attorney. Quit trying to say other people are. This is the way it is. Your father would be very, very disappointed in you. Good enough.
Reading those words publicly, especially from your own mother, would be painful under any circumstances. But for Ginger, who says she had been trying to reach her mother and make sure she was safe, the post may have felt like both a rejection and a warning that their relationship had deteriorated even further. But we also have to be careful not to speak for other women. We cannot know whether this post reflected Karma's complete and independent wishes, whether it was written during a moment of anger or whether anyone else influenced what she posted, whether they posted it for her. But what we can say is that Ginger saw her mother publicly tell her and her children to stay away. And according to Ginger, that did not erase her concern. It only left her trying to understand whether her mother truly wanted no contact or whether something more complicated was happening behind the scenes.
We are not diagnosing Ginger's mother with dementia, Alzheimer's disease, or any other condition.
Not at all, no.
What we are saying is that Ginger describes a conversation in which her mother appeared confused about where she was and what was happening around her. That is the concern, not the diagnosis.
They let her answer the phone from me, but they had it on speakerphone because they were running from one place to another. And I said, Mother, where are you at? And she said, well, I don't know. I'm going to Yellville. I said, Mother, you're in Yellville, remember? And she said, oh, well, I've got a baby next to me. I'm like, what baby do you have next to you, Mother? Well, there's not a baby next to her. And that was the time that Allison would have taken her.
They went to Texas first. It would have been the Corpus Christi.
Yeah, they were going from one place to another in Texas.
Okay.
But that's what Angela and Allison and them do. They because I think she's had pre-signs of dementia and things like that, Alzheimer's, whatever it may be. I'm no doctor, so I can't diagnose that. But I've worked with many older patients, and they come in and she's showing the exact same markers that these patients that are cognitively declined are. But they pull her in, and they've always done that, saying that they need help doing something, and then they keep adding on, oh, you can't leave yet because I need help doing this. I need help doing this. Oh, you can't leave because that means you don't love me because I need help doing this.
Ginger also believes money may be one reason her mother remains with Angela. She bases that belief on benefits connected to her late father. That motive has not been established as fact.
That is Ginger's fear and belief. We do not know how the benefits are managed, who legally controls them, or how the money is being used. What we do know is that a daughter says she cannot reliably reach her mother and does not feel confident that she will be told if something happens to her.
And I told my kids this. I said, I'll never know when my mother dies. I'll never know.
There are still major questions concerning the property, the money, the business, and the people who say they were harmed. But Ginger's interview reminds us that alleged financial misconduct does not remain inside contracts and court files. It follows people home.
Yeah. It divides siblings, and it damages relationships between parents and children. It places relatives in the impossible position of loving someone while also fearing that what that person may do next.
To Ginger's mother, if you hear this and you need help, contact a trusted family member, a medical professional, an attorney, local law enforcement, or adult protective services where you are currently staying. You do not have to contact this podcast. We simply hope that you are safe and you are able to make your own decisions with appropriate support.
And to anyone named in this episode, we welcome a response, a correction, documentation that helps establish the truth. Personal recollections will always be identified as personal recollections. Public records will be identified as public records.
And as this investigation continues, we will keep following both the stories people tell and the paper trail they leave behind.
Whether you're taking crime into bed with you, or just bringing us along on the go.
Keep sleuthing, stay cozy,
and always
stay curious.
Thanks for listening. Please see you. Like and subscribe.